To manually create an invoice, perhaps you have a customer service person calling a customer to place an order. All you got to do is press Invoice Entry. From here, select the customer. Select the route that you want to assign it to. Press Continue. From here I can do a lot of different things. One thing I can do is load pricing. This looks at this customer specific pricing and loads it based on what's in that list. From here I can do a search for an item as well. So as I start typing, it finds any instance of the word service, wherever that word exists in the customer list, in the item list. And press plus to add the item to the invoice. I can also just press the drop down list and start typing. Other things I can do from here is if I click on MISC info, I can select terms if they're different than what's in the customer profile. I can also enter a PO number. I can load based on a price group. So under items, you can set default groupings of items to load on an invoice as well. Other things I can do from here, I can print one invoice out. I can also email this invoice to the customer. I can void this invoice or delete it. Delete literally deletes the invoice out of the system. Void basically sets this invoice to a $0 invoice, and it will continue to post to QuickBooks as a voided invoice. I can close this invoice, which will close this invoice out, leaving it in RouteStar but not posting it to QuickBooks. I can also memorize this invoice. If I want to complete this invoice, I can press Complete the Invoice. What this does is flags the invoice as completed, and you'll see from the invoice list that this invoice was completed and that it was a manual invoice. So when posting to QuickBooks, you can post in batch. I can select Route 2 for 1227 and post to QuickBooks. If I press Post to QuickBooks, it's only going to post completed invoices for Route 2 for this date to QuickBooks. Or I can open an invoice singularly and press Post to QuickBooks. Now when I go back to my invoice list, this invoice is flagged as posted. What that means is it's pending to go to QuickBooks. Once QuickBooks syncs with RouteStar, the posted invoices fall off and go to the closed invoice list. A lot of companies will auto-generate invoices for their drivers. What that means is based on the route schedule, it looks at the customers on a particular route for a particular day, looks at their customer pricing, and will pre-build those invoices based on that criteria. Then all the driver has to do is open the invoice, fill out the quantity, get a signature and possibly a payment, and complete the invoice. You can also have the driver just build the invoice as needed when he delivers or when he goes to the stop and makes a delivery. This video is based on how to auto-generate. So from the route schedule, all you have to do is go to Menu and then come down to auto-generate. From here you can put in the criteria, select one route or all routes, select one particular customer, and select what types of items from customer pricing you want to load on the invoice. You have the option of doing all items, department-specific items, and frequency-specific items. For this purpose, I'm going to do all. When I press Generate, It looks at the route schedule for 12/27 for all the routes and builds invoices based on that criteria. Upon completion, it takes me right to the pending invoice list. Now, some things to note here. If you have our express order system and you have a customer placing an order online, that order will automatically appear here and it won't get doubled up when you auto-generate. So from here, if I want to see what's on a particular invoice, just click on the invoice. And this is all the items on that particular invoice. The driver will also see this invoice already pre-built on their mobile device as well. If I need to do an invoice, a one-off invoice, or if I want to print all these invoices, I can select the route that I want to print. Maybe it's route 2 for today's date. And then I can select what I want to print here. I can print multiple versions of an invoice. Select the format and press print. If I want to create a new invoice to add to this list, I just click on Invoices and Invoice Entry, or from the pending invoice list, I can click on Menu, New Invoice. It's very simple. Auto-generating is a very efficient way of pre-building invoices for your drivers. As your drivers complete invoices, the status field here changes. Goes from pending to completed to posted. And we'll have another video on what all that means shortly.